everybody. We're back here with Michael Moore. Now, you've made documentaries over the last 4 years, but if you were going to look back and make a documentary about the last 4 years in America, about the sweep of it, what would you say the lesson or the themes you would take from the last 4 years of this presidency?
Well, first of all, I would not make that film, in part because who would want to watch a film that showed you the last 4 years? We just lived through it. The worst thing I could do to people would be to show them the last 4 years. So that, for that reason alone, the idea is out. But your question's a good one.
Thank you.
What what have we learned? And I think the thing that's been the fact that we as Americans would allow a situation, so many situations actually, to exist, whether it's taking babies out of their mother's arms, putting them in cages, whether it's all the other stuff, that we let this go on. It was done in our name. And, it's, we're going to have to answer for this someday because it was done in my name and my tax dollars paid for it. So I think that's I think it's going to take a while for us. And the way I guess we can redeem ourselves with this is our new president and vice president are going to do things that are going to be there for people. I mean, just before we started, a thing came across that the Pope had called Joe Biden, and they had a conversation. And the Biden campaign, they put out a readout of what the conversation said, and in there Biden talked about to the Pope about how he was going to make America a welcoming place for people, for refugees, for the have-nots, and the have-nots that we have here are going to have the primary focus because this is our second Catholic president, so that's
been overlooked a little bit. Not as much of a deal has been made of that, but as a Catholic myself, I was really struck. First of all, I know Mr. Biden to be a frequent, if not daily, communicant, and he takes his faith very seriously. And I'm very moved by the conversations I've had with him, both publicly and privately, about faith. And you wrote an open letter to the vice president where you talk about his Catholicity, as my mother used to say, his Catholicity. Why is that important to you?
Because he and you and I, we all went to Catholic school and we all learned the same lessons. And I said to him in this letter, what are those lessons? The lessons were that the rich man will have a harder time getting into heaven than a camel will have getting through the eye of the needle. Blessed are the poor. That we have to take care of those who are the least among us. That's how we'll be judged. So I said, I'm assuming, I said this to him, that these are going to be the moral principles of the Biden presidency. I'm going to just assume that automatically because I do believe he's a man of faith, and I think that is going to serve us really well. I mean, just for this example, Stephen, the fact that he picked Kamala Harris to be his running mate, put aside the fact that Trump and Pence were right when they said she was ranked and is ranked as the most liberal senator in the United States Senate. So he could have gone the other way, but he went to the left when he chose his vice president. But more than that, he picked, if you remember the first debate.
Oh, yeah.
She went after him.
Oh, they butted heads, yeah.
And you could see on his face, he didn't know what to say. And he was like, later I thought maybe, he's got he has a conscience. There's a little voice in there saying, well, maybe she's got a point. It's like, but that was the younger me. And that's what she was throwing shade on, that younger self of Joe Biden. But the fact that not only he forgave that he held no grudge, that he just didn't forgive, he put her on the ticket. Who would do that? I would like to think I would, but I don't think I would. I don't know if you would. He did that. And I thought, wow, if that is his moral compass, if this is how he is toward people who he was probably mad at her that night, but he didn't hold it against her. She had the right to say it. And then he picks her to be vice president. This is such a positive sign for me that we are going to be in the polar opposite era than with the 4 years that we just went through.
I would agree that while the United States still has the same problems it had 2 weeks ago, at least the position of the president will be occupied by someone who is going to embody some of the principles, religious or not, that we need as a moral example for all of us to get along.
Correct.
Well, Michael, thank you so much for being here. His podcast, Rumble with Michael Moore, is available on Apple Podcasts. The man is Michael Moore, everybody. When we come back, Steve Carell and I discuss some exciting movies we forgot that we made together. Stick around. Thanks, Michael.